Hey guys, well, welcome back to our channel. Today we're actually welcoming in a new member of our family, Gus, or Snuffleupagus. We actually went and adopted him a few days ago at the animal shelter here. He's an awesome little cat, about 2 years old, and we really wanted a place where he could eat and be away from our dog Penny, just because we didn't want their food to get intermingled and cause issues. So we found these cool little animal shelf things, like floating shelves. And we didn't find any really good instructions on how to build some. So I wanted to show you guys how we built it, and it was pretty easy. Putting it together took only about, I don't know, maybe half an hour or so. And it took a few days for the stain to dry and the sealant, but after that it turned out really great and he loves it. So let's get started. Alright, so to get started, I'm going to take a couple of 1x4s. I'm going to cut 2 short pieces and 2 long pieces. Long piece will be the front, 2 short pieces for the side. And then I'm going to get a 1x12s. This will be the top and the bottom piece. I wish I had a sliding miter saw, but I do not. So I actually have to cut it once, and then I'll flip over the board and cut it a second time and line it up. It's kind of a pain in the butt, but you know, deal with what I got. And then I'll do it a second time for the bottom board piece. After that's all done, I'm going to grab my food and water dishes that I'm going to use and start by measuring out the centers of where I want those dishes to eventually go, making sure it's square, like left and right, and to the far side, so that way it just looks nice and clean. I'm going to measure the bowl length, and then I'm actually going to get a piece of paper and set the bowl down on that, and I'm going to draw out the bowl, the very edge of the bowl on there, and then I'll cut it out of a piece of paper. What I'm going to do next is I'll actually fold that piece of paper in half once and then twice. And the reason why I do that is because we measured that actually to the lip of the bowl. So we're going to need to cut off a little bit of that piece of paper to make sure that the holes are just smaller than the lip of the bowl so they sit in nicely. So after I've cut off enough of that paper for the lip, I'm going to go ahead and put it up against the bowl and make sure it fits properly. In this case, it looks like it will work perfect. Then I'll take that piece of paper and hold it up against the wood with that center points that I measured earlier, and mark off where I need to cut holes in the wood for the bowls. Then I'll flip it around. I'll go ahead and get a drill bit that's just big enough to fit my jigsaw blade into later, and I'll start some pilot holes on the edges of the circles that I will start drilling out. Then I'll take my jigsaw and I'll start cutting out both of those holes, just following the lines that I made earlier. Pretty simple. Okay, then I'll go ahead and test fit the bowls in there in both spots, make sure they fit properly, not too big, not too small. In this case, it works out perfect. And then I'll go ahead and take my sander to everything, make sure to clean off all of the pencil marks that I got on there earlier, and make sure it's nice and smooth for when the cat uses it later. Then I'm going to go ahead and take those 2 short side pieces, apply a thin bleed of wood glue, and I'll hold it up to the side, make sure it fits and everything properly. And then I'm actually going to use my brad nail gun to put a bunch of little brad nails in there because they're small and they'll hide, they won't show. And that way it'll keep everything nice and secure and fit for a long time. Okay, and then I'll do the same thing for the front and the other sideboard, making sure to put enough wood glue basically wherever the 2 pieces of wood are going to come in contact with, and hold it up and brad nail it and get those other 2 pieces done. Then I will take my bottom board and flip everything over, make sure to apply wood glue, and then when I put this on, it's going to be pretty snug, which is good. That means you're doing everything right. So you may have to kind of tap it a little bit to get it in place, and then just like before, we're going to use our brad nail gun to make sure to secure everything properly. Then make sure to clean up any wood glue that's come out from the edges, and I just wipe it off with my finger and onto a paper towel. Then we have these 2x2s. This we cut out. This is what the shelf is actually going to attach to, and then this 2x2 attaches to the wall. So we're going to pre-drill 3 holes for the lag bolts, and then we'll take everything inside. What I like to do also is put in my lag bolts a little bit so they stick out the back just slightly, so that way you can get up against the wall and hold it up against the wall without it moving a whole lot. I've already pre-found out with my stud finder where the studs are, so I make sure to sink these into the studs, or at least as many as possible. Then also make sure you have your level to make sure it's nice and level, because that's important. Then I also take some drywall screws, or some wood screws rather, and put them in, just 2 of them, just to make sure it's extra secure. And I will do a quick test fit of the shelf on there to make sure everything fits properly, looks good, and it is looking pretty good, exactly what we wanted it to do. So I'll take it outside, and then I will apply a coat of a stain. Make sure to wipe off the excess, as well as get in all those little holes and everything. Then I will actually use some satin polyurethane, 2 coats. Make sure to let it dry 24 hours in between each coat. Well, it is all done. So because I suck at shooting everything, I didn't catch putting the actual finished product on, but it's pretty simple. We just slid it on again after it's been stained and sealed, and we put 3 screws in the top back up against the wall just to prevent it from coming off. Otherwise, that 2x2 holds all of the weight there, and Gus, I mean, he weighs almost nothing, so it shouldn't be a factor for him. But yeah, he loves it. Thankfully, it keeps his food and water up away from Penny. And yeah, let me know if you have any questions about anything that I did today. I'll get back to you as soon as I can. I've also put links in the description and the pinned post for any products. If you need anything, sort of woodworking tools, whatever, feel free to at least check them out. No pressure or anything, but feel free to help us out if you do need one of those. Otherwise, make sure to click the subscribe button below to check out videos that do come out each and every week, as well as the 2 videos on the sides here that show our most recent video and the best video that YouTube has for you. Thanks.